you tell them one thing. Just win, baby.
It's because you're not feeling Uzi.
Before I talk about anything in today's video, I do want to give my condolences to Chris Smith and his family. As you guys already know, yesterday, former Raiders defensive end Chris Smith has passed away at the age of 31. Smith has spent 8 seasons in the NFL playing for the Jaguars, Browns, Texans, and of course, our Las Vegas Raiders in 2020. He also recently started playing in the XFL for the Seattle Sea Dragons. Now, the cause of death is unknown, but my prayers go out to his family in these tough times. As you guys already know, once a Raider, always a Raider. So I know I sound like a broken record, but it looks like another star defensive player has asked for a trade. According to Adam Schefter, Budda Baker has informed the Cardinals in February that he wanted to be traded or receive a new deal to make him the highest paid safety. Again, we know when there's a big name out there that's available or possibly on the trade block, a lot of Raider fans are always going to ask the question, should the Raiders go and get that guy? Obviously, we know how much the Raiders need help in the secondary, and now with the possibility of Budda Baker being up for grabs, this could be a chance for the Raiders to make a huge improvement in a position of need. The Draft Network even posted an article of the 3 teams that should trade for Budda Baker, and they listed our Las Vegas Raiders at number 3, saying Raiders general manager Dave Ziegler hasn't injected enough talent into the secondary this offseason. Ziegler signed the likes of Epps and Brandon Faison, among others, but they're hardly considered needle movers for a defense that allowed a 29th ranked 242.9 passing yards per game. The Raiders aren't equipped to slow down Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs and the AFC West. The Raiders defensive coordinator Patrick Graham coached some excellent safeties throughout his tenure with the Patriots and the Giants. Graham would appreciate an opportunity to coach Baker. Acquiring Baker would push Epps to a number 3 safety role, which is more appropriate for his skill set. And they do make a point. Baker is a 2-time All-Pro and a 5-time Pro Bowler. In his career, he's tallied a total of 650 tackles, 32 tackles for loss, 15 quarterback hits, 34 pass deflections, 6 forced fumbles, 7.5 sacks, and 7 interceptions. I believe that he would be a perfect fit in this Raiders defense alongside of Trayvon Merrick and could be the leader that this secondary needs. Baker right now is making $13 million in 2023 and $14.2 million in 2024. But of course, with any wishful signing, what would it cost the Raiders? Now, according to some NFL execs, there are reports going around that they believe that it would cost a day 2 pick, somewhere around a 2nd or 3rd round pick. So if that was the price, I would gladly give up that number 100 pick if that's what it takes to get him to come over here to Las Vegas. Maybe add a couple of late round picks or maybe even some future picks. But what are your thoughts, Raider Nation? Should the Raiders even consider calling Arizona for Budda Baker? Let me know down in the comments below. Now, since the 2022 season has come to an end and Derek Carr being released by the team, we have all talked about the Raiders possibly going and getting a quarterback in the very first round of this year's draft. Whether it was trading up, staying back at 7, or even trading back for somebody that they could get later. We do get some updates today from Todd McShay, and here's what he said on ESPN about the possibility of the Texans trading out of the number 2 overall pick, saying, I think that it's more likely if Houston's going to make a deal to move out of 2, it's going to be with the Las Vegas Raiders, McShay said. And I'm told that Las Vegas is only interested if the quarterback is named Young or Stroud. The Texans are a team that could use a quarterback as well, but they hold the number 12 pick and could gain even more capital with a move down to number 7. Now, this is an interesting report, not because they have the Raiders trading up for a quarterback. I mean, we already knew that, and there was a lot of reports on that before. But the fact that they have the Raiders even considering moving up to the number 2 spot, that's what makes it real interesting. I mean, we already heard all of the rumors going around that we could possibly move up with Arizona at number 3, but to move up to Houston's number 2 pick, I feel like it's going to cost a lot. Of course, if you are trading up to number 2, you're basically guaranteed either CJ Stroud or Bryce Young. And obviously in this report, it seems like the Raiders are only interested in those 2 guys. So if the Raiders are all in on getting a quarterback of the future, how much would it cost them to move up to number 2? We've seen many teams move up to 2 to get their future quarterback plenty of times in the NFL draft. And let's just say it hasn't really been a good track record. So let's throw it back real quick and look at some of those quarterbacks. In 2017, the Chicago Bears moved up 1 spot with the 49ers to get their quarterback of the future, Mitchell Trubisky. Now, they gave it the 2017 first, third, and fourth round picks, plus a 2018 third round pick just to move up one spot. Now, obviously, Mitch Trubisky is not with the Chicago Bears anymore and has been going all around the league. I believe he's with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't really know. But other than that, look at the year prior. In 2016, the Eagles traded up from the 8th spot to go and select Carson Wentz with the 2nd overall pick. Now, this is kind of close to where the Raiders are at right now. Obviously, we're at number 7, but what they had to trade up from number 8 with the Cleveland Browns, they had to give up their 2016 first, third, and fourth round pick, as well as the 2017 first and second round pick. Now, that is definitely a lot to go get a quarterback like Carson Wentz, who I believe had a couple of good seasons with the Eagles before he did get injured. I mean, the Eagles did end up winning a Super Bowl with Carson Wentz carrying the load in the beginning of the season, but obviously we all know that he did not carry that team in the playoffs. Nick Foles came in and saved the day, and he ended up going out there and beating the Tom Brady New England Patriots. So I would say that one is a little hard to gauge, only because they did end up getting a Super Bowl with the help of Carson Wentz, even though he wasn't the quarterback that actually went out there in the Super Bowl and won the game. But going back a little bit further, in 2012, the Redskins traded up 4 spots with the Rams to get the 2nd overall pick, where they went out and selected Robert Griffin III. And what they gave up was a 2012 first and second round pick, a 2013 first round pick, and a 2014 first round pick. That is a lot to give up. And in the beginning, a lot of people thought that this was the perfect move for the Redskins. They got their quarterback that could go out there and win games. And he was definitely electric in his rookie season, going out there and winning the Rookie of the Year. Now, his whole career has been plagued with injuries, and most of that could be in due part because of the Redskins organization rushing him back after being injured throughout the season. RG3 would bounce around the league before making his way to becoming an NFL analyst. So with all that said, looking at all the teams that traded up to number 2 and looking at that quick list, it hasn't really panned out for most of those teams. Now, I'm not saying that that can't happen for the Raiders if we were to move up to number 2, because the 2 top prospects right now look like 2 of the best prospects that we've seen in quite a while, CJ Stroud and Bryce Young. So if these reports are true, I feel like if the Raiders did want to move up from 7 to go up to number 2 to get their guy, I feel like it's going to take the Raiders at least a 2023 first, third, fourth rounder, and maybe a future first round pick, maybe adding a third rounder, or just giving up wide receiver Hunter Renfrow. But even at that, if I had to be honest with you guys, I feel like that's still too much to give up. But that's just me. What do you guys think, Raider Nation? Do you feel like the Raiders should move up to number 2 and just go get their guy if they're all in on getting a quarterback this year? Or should they just take a chance and wait on one of these guys? Or just say, fuck it, let's just go get a defensive player? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Raiders football is finally back. Well, kinda. The team started off-season workouts just yesterday with many new faces in the building, from new quarterback Jimmy G to Max Crosby. But one guy that did not show up to off-season workouts was running back Josh Jacobs. According to Vic Tafur, the Raiders started off-season workout programs yesterday. Running back Josh Jacobs has not signed his franchise tag tender and won't be reporting. July 15th is the deadline for both sides to agree to a long-term contract. After that, they cannot negotiate a deal until after the season. I mean, obviously, we already knew that this was going to happen. I reported it just a couple of days ago, but it's definitely going to be an interesting couple of months to see how this whole situation pans out. Jacobs even posted a subliminal message on his IG story saying, "Respect goes both ways. Would hate to see it."
What do you mean by that?
Now, that could mean a lot of things, but I know one thing is for sure. I would hate to see Josh in another uniform in 2023. Of course, you guys already know how I feel about this. I just hope that the team and Josh can get a deal done soon. I know that there's also a report going out there that they might be getting back into more contract talks after the NFL draft. So like I said before, I just hope to see Josh Jacobs back in the silver and black for this next upcoming season, because he's definitely going to be one of those key pieces that we need on the offensive side of the ball, especially with a new quarterback here. Now, the last thing I do want to talk about is former Raiders / current Charger Khalil Mack was on Cold as Balls with Kevin Hart, and he talked a bit about his time with the Raiders. And let's just say, Kevin didn't really hold back.
When you think about going into Oakland, first and foremost, at the time, I know we had big names like Charles Woodson. Mm-hmm. And those are the guys that are in my huddle. Mm-hmm. They expected me to come in and get to it.
To work.
Not to work, but to work to win.
Now, speaking of trying to win, being on the Raiders is, let's just address the elephant in the room. You're not going to win. With that being the case, you're trying. But, that that same look is going to be in that locker room every Sunday. They just look at each other like, well, what do you think we should do?
Now, I know that me and the Oos Mr. Fitz kind of talked about this on the last episode of the Oos Nation podcast. If you guys haven't checked it out already, man, go and check it out. If the reports are right about Khalil Mack possibly being released by the Chargers sometime soon, I would love to bring Khalil Mack back to the silver and black. I know he might not be the same player he once was when he was with us in Oakland, but he still has that talent to go out there and be a force to be reckoned with on the defensive line. Especially to see him back in the silver and black would be something great, especially for the fans in Las Vegas. He didn't really get a chance to play in Allegiant Stadium as a Raider, so I hope if that opportunity does perceive itself, I hope the Raiders can go out there and get this guy back. But again, Raider Nation, let me know what you guys think about this. Would you guys bring Khalil Mack if he was available in the open market? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. All right, Raider Nation, that is all I have for you guys today. If you guys haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification icon button to notify you guys when I upload more videos just like this. Until the next one, this is your boy Small Raider, and your boys, yeah.
Started off in Oakland, now we here. Thought that we was done, we just hit another gear. Look, started off in Oakland, now we here. Hey, pull up with the nation in the silver black gear. Look, 4 games straight, we in the playoffs. Shout out to the Chargers fans, y'all enjoy the layoff.